The glass doors hadn't even finished sliding open when my father grabbed my arm hard enough to make me flinch. His voice dropped low, sharp, controlled, like he was afraid someone might hear, but not afraid to hurt me. "Stay in the kitchen tonight," he said. "Just do your job. Let your sister handle the front." For a second, I thought I misheard him. 80 guests were already arriving. Investors, critics, friends, the biggest night of our lives. And he wanted me, hidden. I stood there in my chef's coat, the one with my name embroidered on it, and realized something was very, very wrong. I wasn't just part of this restaurant. I built it. 3 years earlier, it had been nothing but an empty shell on a dying street. Peeling paint, broken windows, and the kind of place people walked past without noticing. But I saw something in it. I always did. Cooking was never just a skill, for meat was everything. I trained for years, worked double shifts, burned my hands, and ruined relationships, missed holidays, all for the chance to create something that mattered. When I finally came back home, it was my idea to open a restaurant. Not just any restaurant, our restaurant. A place built on family recipes, modern techniques, something authentic enough to stand out. My dad loved the idea immediately. "Family business," he said, smiling like he hadn't in years. "We'll build it together." My sister Lisa wasn't a chef. She had no experience in restaurants at all. But she wanted in, of course. She always did. Dad said she could handle the front. Marketing, guests, social media, things like that. I didn't argue. I never did. I just worked. I created the menu from scratch. Tested every dish 100 times. Designed the kitchen layout. Hired and trained the staff. I even used my savings, the money I had been putting aside for years, to help fund the renovations when we fell short. And when we needed more money, I was the one who found the investor. His name was Daniel Reed. He didn't care about family stories or emotional pitches. He cared about talent, about vision. I remember sitting across from him, hands slightly shaking, as I presented everything: menu concepts, projections, branding. But mostly, I showed him the food. He tasted 3 dishes. Just 3. Then he leaned back, looked straight at me, and said, "If you're the one running this kitchen, I'm in." $5 million. That's what he committed. Not because of the building. Not because of my dad. Not because of Lisa. Because of me. The first red flag came 2 months before opening. We were finalizing paperwork, licenses, contracts, ownership structures. I was too busy most days to sit through every meeting, so I trusted my dad to handle things. One afternoon, I walked into his office and saw a stack of documents on his desk. My name wasn't on them. At first, I thought it was just a draft. Maybe incomplete. Maybe a mistake. "Hey," I said casually, trying not to sound paranoid. "I didn't see my name on the ownership papers." He didn't even look up. "It's just temporary," he said. "Legal stuff. Easier this way. Easier for who?" I should have pushed harder. But I didn't, because he was my father. Then things started shifting. Lisa suddenly became louder, more visible. She started introducing herself as co-owner to staff, giving directions in areas she didn't understand, changing small things without telling me. At first, it was minor. Then it wasn't. She altered the menu layout I designed without asking. She booked media previews and put herself as the face of the restaurant. She even started correcting me in front of staff. I confronted her once. "Why are you acting like this is your restaurant?" I asked. She smiled. "Because it is." Something about the way she said it made my stomach drop. A week before opening, I found the marketing materials. My face was everywhere. Posters, social media ads, website banners, head chef, the heart behind the experience. But there was something missing. No mention of ownership. No mention of my role beyond the kitchen. Lisa, on the other hand, founder and visionary. I stared at the screen, confused. Visionary? She couldn't tell you the difference between basil and mint 6 months ago. That night, I went straight to my dad. "What is going on?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "Why is Lisa being presented as the owner?" He sighed, like I was the problem. "It's branding," he said. "You're the talent. She's the face. That's how businesses work." "That's not how this business works," I said. "I built this. And you'll still cook," he snapped. "That's your strength, cook." That word hit differently. Not create, not lead, just cook. The truth didn't hit me all at once. It came in pieces. A missed email here. A changed document there. Conversations that stopped when I entered the room. Decisions made without me. Then, 2 days before opening, I saw it. The final ownership contract. Signed. Stamped. Official. My name wasn't just missing, it had never been there. I confronted them both that night. My hands were shaking, but my voice wasn't. "You removed me," I said. "From everything." Lisa didn't even deny it. "You were never meant to own it," she said. "You're the chef. That's enough." "That's enough?" I repeated, my voice cracking. "I built this from nothing." Dad stepped in. "We needed structure," he said. "Clear roles. Investors don't like complications. Daniel invested because of me." I shouted. "And he still has you," Lisa said coldly. "In the kitchen, where you belong." Something inside me broke right then. But I didn't walk away. Not yet. Because I needed to see how far they'd go. Opening night arrived. The restaurant was glowing. Lights warm and inviting. Every table filled. Laughter, glasses clinking, and the kind of energy I had dreamed about for years. But I wasn't part of it. I was in the kitchen. Cooking. While Lisa stood out front, greeting guests, telling my story like it was hers. I could hear her voice through the doors. Our vision was to create something unforgettable. Our vision. I gripped the counter so hard my knuckles turned white. Then my dad came in. That's when he grabbed my arm. "Stay back here," he said. "We don't want confusion." Confusion. Like I was the problem. Like my presence would ruin their lie. I looked around the kitchen. My kitchen. Every inch of it carried my work. My sacrifices. My time. My pain. And suddenly, it didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt stolen. I took off my apron slowly. No one noticed at first. The staff was busy. Orders were coming in. The rhythm of service had already started. I folded it neatly, placed it on the counter. Then I walked. Straight through the back door. The night air hit my face like a shock. For a moment, I just stood there, breathing. 3 years. Gone. Just like that. Then I pulled out my phone, opened my messages, and sent one text to Daniel Reed. "Hi, Daniel. I'm sorry to message like this on opening night, but there's something you need to know. I am not an owner of the restaurant. I was removed from all legal documents without my knowledge. Everything you invested in my concept, my leadership, is no longer under my control." I stared at the screen. Then I added one more line. "And I've just walked out. Send." I didn't go back inside. I didn't call anyone. I just waited. It took 12 minutes. That's all. 12 minutes before everything started to collapse. First, my phone rang. Dad. I didn't answer. Then Lisa. Ignored. Then both of them again, and again. Finally, a message from Daniel. "Where are you?" Inside the restaurant, things were changing. I found out later what happened. Daniel had arrived quietly, observed for a few minutes, watched Lisa speak, watched the service. Then he asked one simple question. "Where is she?" Lisa tried to deflect. "She's in the kitchen," she said. "That's her role." Daniel didn't smile. "That's not what I invested in." Within minutes, he asked to see the ownership documents, right there, on opening night, in front of everyone. And that's when the truth came out. My dad called me again. This time, I answered. "Where are you?" he demanded, panic breaking through his voice. "Outside," I said calmly. "Get back in here right now." "No." there was silence. "You're ruining everything," he said. I almost laughed. "No," I replied. "I'm just done saving it." An hour later, Daniel walked out. He found me sitting on the curb, still in my chef's coat. Still shaking, but not from fear anymore. He didn't yell, didn't accuse. He just sat down beside me. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" he asked. I swallowed hard. "Because I didn't want to believe they'd do this to me," he nodded slowly. Then he said something I'll never forget. "I didn't invest in a building," he said. "I invested in you." The next morning, everything changed. Daniel pulled his funding. Immediately. Legally. Completely. Without his backing, the restaurant couldn't survive. The loans collapsed, the operations froze, staff started leaving. Within weeks, it was over. Closed. Just like that. My dad tried to call me. So did Lisa. Over and over. I didn't answer, because there was nothing left to say. 3 months later, I opened my own place. Small. Simple. But mine. Every decision. Every detail. Every plate that left the kitchen mine. And this time, when people walked in, they didn't see a borrowed story. They saw the truth. On opening night, I stood at the front, not hidden, not silenced. Present. And for the first time, I understood something I wish I had realized sooner. Your value doesn't disappear when people try to erase you. It doesn't vanish because someone else takes credit. It follows you. Quietly. Powerfully. Until the moment you decide to stop giving it away. I lost a restaurant. But I found myself. And in the end, that was worth everything.